After the age of 70, life can either become a slow drift into frustration and clutter, or it can bloom into a season of clarity, calm, and wellness. But here's the secret few people talk about. Your peace, happiness, and even your health in your later years may depend on what you let go of. In this video, we're diving deep into the 5 surprising things you should throw away after age 70. Not just for a tidier home, but for a stronger body, clearer mind, and more joyful life. Stick around, because what you learn in the next few minutes could transform your golden years into your healthiest yet. Outdated medications and expired supplements. The hidden dangers lurking in your medicine cabinet. It's easy to overlook a cluttered medicine cabinet. A few bottles here, a few boxes there, some tucked into drawers, others forgotten behind bathroom mirrors. But for seniors over 70, what's sitting quietly on that shelf might be doing far more harm than good. Outdated medications and expired supplements aren't just ineffective, they can actually be dangerous. As the body ages, its ability to process substances shifts. The liver and kidneys don't filter as efficiently, and the interactions between drugs become more unpredictable. That means an expired painkiller or an old antibiotic can lead to unexpected side effects, from nausea and dizziness to far more serious complications like blood pressure spikes or kidney stress. Many seniors are surprised to learn that some medications, even when stored properly, lose their potency or change chemical composition with time. That calcium bottle from 5 years ago might now be more chalk than benefit, while an old sleep aid could trigger unwanted daytime grogginess or confusion. Studies have shown that nearly 40% of seniors keep medications beyond their expiration dates, often because they might need them someday. But holding on to these bottles isn't just unnecessary, it's unsafe. The American Geriatric Society advises that medication management becomes more critical with age due to increased sensitivity to drugs. Inappropriate medications, or even just redundant ones, can contribute to what's called polypharmacy, a condition where taking multiple medications leads to harmful drug interactions and reduced quality of life. When seniors take 5 or more medications a day, as many do, the chances of adverse reactions skyrocket. Throwing away unused or expired prescriptions isn't about waste, it's about protecting your brain, heart, and overall stability. Then there's the issue of supplements. The supplement industry thrives on promises: stronger bones, better sleep, sharper memory. But many over-the-counter products are unregulated, unproven, and potentially harmful in the wrong combinations. Expired supplements may degrade into inactive powders or, worse, chemically altered compounds. And more doesn't mean better. Doubling up on old vitamin D or fish oil capsules may tax your digestion and do little to improve your health. Instead of hoarding bottles, seniors should focus on consulting their doctor for a simplified, modern supplement regimen tailored to today's body, not the one from a decade ago. Getting rid of outdated medications also helps clear mental space. The act of decluttering signals a fresh start and affirms that you are actively caring for your health. Organizing your medicine cabinet into a streamlined, current, and doctor-approved set of essentials means fewer decisions, less confusion, and better adherence to what actually matters. It also ensures you don't accidentally take something twice, or take the wrong thing altogether, a common risk when multiple bottles look similar or carry old labels. Proper disposal is key. Never flush medications down the toilet unless instructed to. Many communities offer take-back programs or secure drop boxes at pharmacies. Safe disposal protects the environment and keeps dangerous substances out of reach of grandchildren, pets, or even your own accidental use. By throwing away expired or unnecessary medications, you're not just tidying up, you're making a powerful statement. You're saying that your current and future health matters more than clinging to the past. You're choosing clarity over clutter, safety over sentimentality, and intention over habit. In your 70s and beyond, every little change matters. And what seems like a small act, tossing a dusty bottle, can actually be the first domino in a chain of healthier decisions. In this season of life, fewer pills can mean more peace, and letting go of what no longer works can make space for what will. Clothes that no longer fit your lifestyle or body. How fabric can weigh down your freedom. There's something deeply personal about clothing. Every shirt, every coat, every pair of shoes often carries a memory. Who you were when you wore it, what you were doing, how you felt. But as we age, these once useful pieces of fabric can become quiet obstacles, subtly interfering with how we move, how we feel, and even how we view ourselves. For seniors over 70, holding on to clothes that no longer serve your lifestyle, your body, or your goals can create more than just a cluttered closet. It can add unnecessary stress to your daily routine and quietly undermine your sense of dignity and well-being. While it might seem like a small matter, outdated clothing can have a surprising impact on health, comfort, and peace of mind. Ill-fitting garments can cause pressure sores, limit mobility, and even increase the risk of falls, particularly when tight waistbands restrict circulation or overly long pants bunch around the ankles. Shoes that no longer support your arches, or stiff jackets that make it difficult to raise your arms, are more than just uncomfortable, they're hazards. Your body after 70 is not the same as it was at 50 or even 60. Muscle mass shifts, joint flexibility decreases, and comfort becomes more than a luxury, it becomes a health necessity. According to research from the National Institute on Aging, older adults often experience subtle physical changes that require them to adapt their wardrobes for safety and ease. Clothes that were once flattering may now pinch or restrict, and items chosen for style may now create anxiety, especially when they're hard to put on or take off. Seniors with arthritis, balance issues, or reduced dexterity benefit tremendously from clothing designed for ease. Soft, stretchable fabrics, garments with magnetic or Velcro closures, shoes with wide openings and sturdy soles. If your closet is filled with outfits that no longer match your reality, it may be time to let them go, not as a defeat, but as an act of liberation. There's also the psychological weight to consider. Clothes that no longer fit, physically or emotionally, can become silent reminders of what used to be. Holding on to a favorite blazer from a job long retired or a dress from a long past occasion may feel nostalgic, but it can also stir up regrets or unrealistic comparisons to an earlier version of yourself. And every morning that starts with sifting through clothes that don't fit, don't flatter, or don't feel good is a morning that begins with frustration. Streamlining your wardrobe to match your current needs helps eliminate decision fatigue and boosts confidence. Studies in geriatric psychology show that seniors who feel comfortable in their clothing experience more self-esteem and are more likely to stay socially active, an essential factor in cognitive health and emotional resilience. There's power in creating a closet that honors who you are today. Instead of keeping clothes just in case you return to a previous weight or lifestyle, choose pieces that support your life now. If you're retired, you probably don't need dozens of formal outfits anymore. If you no longer wear heels, keeping them only crowds your space. And if you've downsized your social calendar or daily commitments, your clothing should reflect that too. Create a capsule wardrobe filled with items that are comfortable, versatile, and make you feel good every time you put them on. This might mean letting go of half your closet, but it also means gaining back time, space, and peace of mind. Donating old clothes can also turn this process into a positive act. Your gently used items can bring warmth, dignity, and joy to someone else in need. Shelters, churches, and community centers often accept senior-friendly clothing, and some organizations specifically focus on helping the elderly or people with mobility challenges. Knowing your items will be used again adds meaning to the process of letting go. Most importantly, clearing out clothes that no longer fit your body or lifestyle helps you take control of your environment. It's one less drawer to rummage through, one less decision to make, and one more way to affirm that you are still choosing what serves your best life. You deserve to open your closet and feel ease, not burden. You deserve to wear clothes that comfort you, protect you, and reflect who you are now, not who you were. Aging doesn't mean giving up style or personality. It means refining it to align with your values and your well-being. When you give yourself permission to release what no longer fits, you give yourself the freedom to truly live in the moment, one soft sleeve and comfortable shoe at a time. Negative self-talk and regrets. Why mental clutter is more dangerous than physical clutter. Long after we've decluttered our closets and cleaned out the medicine cabinet, one of the heaviest burdens we may still carry lies hidden in our own minds. Negative self-talk and lingering regrets can quietly rob seniors of joy, confidence, and emotional peace far more than any physical object ever could. These inner scripts, I should have done more, it's too late to change, I'm not useful anymore, echo through our thoughts and chip away at our sense of worth, one quiet moment at a time. And because they often come dressed as truths, it's easy to let them live inside us without questioning them. But make no mistake, negative self-talk is clutter of the most dangerous kind. While physical clutter can trip you up on the outside, mental clutter does it on the inside, affecting your mood, behavior, and even your physical health. Studies have shown that persistent negative thinking patterns can lead to chronic stress, reduced immune function, and even cognitive decline over time. After the age of 70, it becomes especially important to challenge and release these thought patterns. That's not just optimism, it's neuroscience. The brain retains plasticity even in later life, meaning it can still learn, adapt, and form new pathways. But when regret becomes a constant companion, it can block that process and trap the mind in a loop of reliving the past. Whether it's guilt over a parenting decision made decades ago, regret over not pursuing a dream, or shame around choices or relationships, these thoughts gain strength the more they're repeated. It's not that reflection is bad. Reflection can be a source of wisdom. But when reflection turns into rumination, it becomes corrosive. It stalls growth, clouds your sense of self, and makes the future feel smaller than it really is. The truth is, every senior has regrets. What sets the peaceful apart from the bitter is not the absence of regret, it's the willingness to release it. Letting go of negative self-talk doesn't mean pretending everything is perfect. It means recognizing that every stage of life comes with its own challenges, and judging past decisions from the vantage point of today's knowledge is neither fair nor helpful. You did the best you could with what you had at the time. And now, you have the opportunity to make the best of what you have in this moment. That mindset shift, from self-blame to self-compassion, isn't just emotionally healing. It's also deeply healthy. According to research from the Mayo Clinic, self-compassion in older adults is linked with better sleep, lower blood pressure, and improved resilience against illness. Just like clearing a crowded shelf creates space for something new, clearing your mind of harsh thoughts creates room for better mental and physical outcomes. One powerful way to do this is to literally speak back to the negative voice. If you find yourself thinking, "I'm useless now," counter it with facts. "I still contribute with my presence, my wisdom, and my experience." If the thought arises, "It's too late for me," replace it with, "I still have time to enjoy, to learn, and to grow." These aren't just platitudes, they're affirmations grounded in truth. Your life still has value, and your presence still matters. And every time you choose to affirm rather than criticize, you are building a new habit, a healthy, empowering one. Journaling is another tool that can help externalize and weaken the power of negative thoughts. By writing them down, you begin to see patterns, challenge distortions, and reclaim control over your internal dialogue. It's also helpful to limit exposure to environments or conversations that reinforce negativity. Whether it's a news program that fuels fear or a friend who constantly dwells on the worst, your emotional environment is just as important as your physical one. Curate it. Protect it. Surround yourself with people and messages that remind you of your worth, your potential, and your ability to shape the present. And when regrets creep in, because they will, treat them like passing clouds. Acknowledge them, then let them go, knowing they don't define the sky above. This mental shift isn't always easy. It requires practice, awareness, and sometimes help from others. But it's one of the most profound gifts you can give yourself in your 70s and beyond. Peace of mind doesn't come from perfection. It comes from forgiveness. Joy doesn't come from a flawless past. It comes from gratitude in the present. And confidence doesn't come from having done everything right. It comes from knowing you are still capable of doing something right today. So throw away the script that says you're too old, too late, or too far gone. It's not true. And the more you declutter your mind from the lies regret tries to tell, the more space you create for contentment, clarity, and joy to take root and grow. Cluttered spaces and unused possessions. The health science behind a tidy, peaceful environment. As we move through life, our homes often become silent museums. Shelves lined with souvenirs of past travels, closets packed with clothing for seasons that never come, drawers full of tools and gadgets whose functions we no longer remember. After the age of 70, however, every object in your living space should serve a purpose that is either practical or nourishing to your well-being. Clutter isn't just a visual or organizational issue, it's a health issue, both physical and psychological. Research from Princeton University's Neuroscience Institute found that physical clutter in your surroundings competes for your attention, reducing your ability to focus and process information. For seniors, who may already be navigating age-related cognitive shifts, this effect is magnified. A disorganized environment leads to increased feelings of anxiety, elevated cortisol levels, and a sense of mental fatigue that often goes unrecognized but deeply affects mood, decision-making, and even memory. The risk of falling is another critical concern. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, falls are the leading cause of injury-related death among adults over 65. Tripping hazards like stacked magazines, unsteady side tables, or misplaced cords become significantly more dangerous as balance, vision, and reaction time naturally decline with age. In homes where clutter blocks walkways or piles obscure floor space, the odds of a serious accident increase dramatically. A tidy home, on the other hand, supports smoother movement, reduces risks, and fosters independence. It's not about achieving perfection or sterility. It's about making your space work for your body, not against it. Every unnecessary object removed clears space not just on your floors or counters, but in your daily routine and overall peace of mind. There's also an emotional layer to physical clutter. Seniors often hold on to items for sentimental reasons, gifts from loved ones, children's art projects, or furniture inherited from family members. While memories are sacred, it's essential to recognize when objects become emotional traps instead of meaningful tributes. An unused room filled with dusty boxes might feel like a connection to the past, but if it overwhelms you or triggers sadness, guilt, or a feeling of being stuck, it may be doing more harm than good. Mental health experts call this clutter-induced stress, and it's a very real phenomenon. Letting go of things that no longer serve your present doesn't mean erasing the past. It means choosing to honor it without being held hostage by it. You can preserve the essence of a memory with a single photo or a handwritten letter instead of a dozen rarely used items. In fact, decluttering can be profoundly empowering. It's a way of taking control of your environment in a stage of life where other areas may feel out of your hands. Organizing your space to fit your current lifestyle signals that you are still making active choices about how you live and not simply coasting through the years on autopilot. Start small, a single drawer, a shelf, or one storage bin. Every object you release sends a message: I'm ready to make room for what truly matters. Seniors who embrace this mindset often report improved mood, better sleep, and even a renewed sense of purpose. It becomes easier to find what you need, easier to maintain cleanliness, and easier to invite others into your space without shame or apology. Practical tools can help. Consider using open shelving rather than deep cabinets, where items are easier to see and access. Replace old furniture that's hard to maneuver around with lightweight, functional alternatives. Label important storage areas clearly, and keep daily essentials, like medications, glasses, and mobility aids, within arm's reach. These adjustments might seem small, but they add up to a safer, more peaceful home environment. For items you struggle to part with, ask yourself, is this serving my life today? Is this object supporting my peace, or interrupting it? If the answer leans toward the latter, it may be time to let it go with gratitude. Another overlooked benefit of a decluttered space is its impact on social connection. Many seniors isolate themselves out of embarrassment over a messy home. By creating a space that feels open and welcoming, you open the door, literally and figuratively, to visits from family, friends, and caregivers. Loneliness is one of the greatest threats to senior health, linked to higher risks of dementia, depression, and heart disease. A simplified home can help bridge that gap by removing the emotional and physical barriers to companionship. It can turn a space of solitude into one of warmth, community, and connection. Ultimately, the act of decluttering is not about reducing your life, it's about refining it. In your 70s and beyond, your time, energy, and physical safety are too valuable to be wasted on things that no longer serve you. Your home should be a sanctuary, not a storage unit. Let it reflect who you are now, wise, vibrant, and focused on what brings comfort and joy. Letting go of the excess doesn't mean losing part of yourself. It means rediscovering the best parts of you that may have been buried beneath years of accumulation. And in that clearing, you may just find a deeper sense of freedom than you ever expected. Toxic relationships and unreasonable obligations. Protecting emotional health in your 70s and beyond. As we age, one of the most underrated yet crucial aspects of wellness is the quality of our relationships. In our 70s and beyond, emotional energy becomes more precious than ever, and how we spend that energy can directly influence our physical health, mental clarity, and day-to-day happiness. Toxic relationships and unreasonable obligations, though often tolerated out of habit or guilt, can quietly drain our vitality, leaving us anxious, exhausted, or emotionally burdened. These are the interactions that leave you feeling small, judged, dismissed, or manipulated. The people who call only when they need something, who criticize more than they support, or who expect you to continue roles that no longer reflect your current stage of life. Letting go of these unhealthy dynamics isn't about cruelty or abandonment. It's about protecting your peace, reclaiming your boundaries, and choosing relationships that nourish rather than deplete. There's significant evidence to support the health consequences of toxic relationships, particularly in older adults. A study published in the journal Psychosomatic Medicine found that negative social interactions can raise blood pressure, increase inflammation, and lead to a greater risk of chronic illness over time. The stress response triggered by repeated tension, judgment, or emotional abuse doesn't lessen with age, it accumulates. Seniors who frequently engage in draining or confrontational relationships tend to have higher levels of cortisol, the stress hormone, which can contribute to sleep disturbances, lowered immunity, and even cognitive impairment. What's more, the emotional toll of walking on eggshells or constantly managing the needs of others can reduce the motivation to engage in health-promoting behaviors like exercise, healthy eating, or social participation. This is why, after 70, there's no room left for emotional compromise. You've earned the right to peace. You've earned the right to prioritize your joy, your rest, and your well-being. If someone in your life constantly leaves you feeling worse after each interaction, it's a sign that something needs to change. That might mean setting firmer boundaries, limiting the amount of time you spend with certain individuals, being clear about what you're no longer willing to tolerate, or, in some cases, cutting off contact altogether. This can be especially difficult when the toxic relationship involves family members, but emotional history should not outweigh emotional health. Your longevity, your happiness, and your dignity deserve to come first. Equally important is letting go of unreasonable obligations. Just because you've always done something doesn't mean you must continue doing it. Whether it's being the designated caregiver, the family peacekeeper, the volunteer who never says no, or the neighbor who always helps with errands, these roles may once have been fulfilling but can become burdensome as your priorities evolve. Many seniors carry a deep sense of responsibility, often rooted in decades of putting others first. But in your later years, that sense of duty must be balanced with discernment. Saying no is not selfish, it's wise. Protecting your time, your energy, and your health allows you to show up more fully for the people and activities that truly matter. Surrounding yourself with supportive, uplifting individuals is not a luxury, it's a necessity. Studies have shown that positive social connections in later life are linked to better cardiovascular health, stronger immune response, and decreased risk of depression and cognitive decline. Choose relationships that make you feel seen, valued, and heard. Spend time with people who listen without judgment, who laugh with you, and who respect your boundaries. Whether it's an old friend, a new neighbor, a fellow community member, or a family member who genuinely cares, invest in those bonds. And don't be afraid to create new connections. It's never too late to meet someone who changes your life for the better. Community centers, book clubs, religious gatherings, and online forums tailored to seniors can offer meaningful opportunities for engagement. Letting go of toxic relationships and exhausting obligations doesn't have to be dramatic. It can be quiet, respectful, and gradual. It might look like reducing the number of phone calls, declining an invitation, or choosing not to react to baiting comments. It might mean being honest with someone about how their behavior affects you or writing a letter you never send to help release pent-up emotion. Whatever the form, the act of releasing what no longer serves you sends a powerful message to yourself. I am worthy of peace. I am worthy of protection. I am worthy of relationships that feel like home, not hardship. In this chapter of life, your emotional health is just as important as your physical health. Both require daily attention, boundaries, and care. By clearing out the toxic and embracing the nourishing, you're not just reducing stress, you're actively shaping a life that honors your experience, your needs, and your right to joy. Emotional freedom is one of the most powerful gifts you can give yourself after 70. And the moment you decide to stop carrying what was never yours to hold, you begin to walk lighter, live fuller, and breathe easier. Old habits that no longer serve you, replacing routine with purpose in your later years. By the time we reach our 70s, routines can become deeply ingrained, almost automatic. We wake, eat, move, and think in patterns we've developed over decades, often without questioning whether those patterns still serve us. But habits, like tools, are only useful when they still do the job. As your body, brain, and lifestyle evolve, some habits that once helped you stay organized, productive, or healthy may now be keeping you stuck. This isn't about abandoning structure or change for the sake of change. It's about taking a critical look at which behaviors are actually enhancing your life and which ones are quietly limiting it. Whether it's a sedentary morning routine, outdated eating patterns, overconsumption of news, rigid sleep schedules, or long-standing beliefs about aging itself, old habits can quietly narrow your world if they're not periodically re-evaluated. The truth is, the person you were at 40 or 50 is not the person you are now, and your daily rhythms should reflect who you are today. Science supports the power of change in later years. Neuroscientific studies confirm that the brain remains plastic well into old age, meaning it can still rewire itself to form new, healthier habits. When you retire or step away from long-held responsibilities, there's a tremendous opportunity to redefine what your days look like. Yet many people fall into the trap of repeating old behaviors simply because they're familiar. For example, perhaps you always skipped breakfast when you were younger due to a busy work schedule, but now that you're home more, that habit no longer supports your energy levels. Or maybe you've always watched television late into the night as a form of unwinding, but now it's disrupting your sleep quality and morning clarity. Habits become unconscious shortcuts, but when those shortcuts start leading you down the wrong path, it's time to take a detour. One of the most powerful yet overlooked habits to reassess is how you start your day. Studies show that seniors who begin their mornings with gentle movement, exposure to natural light, and a mindful activity such as journaling or stretching have better mood regulation, sharper cognition, and improved cardiovascular health. Compare that to the habit of immediately checking a phone or turning on the television, which often triggers stress, passive consumption, or mental fatigue before the day has even begun. Similarly, eating patterns that were once sufficient may now require adjustments. Your metabolism changes with age, your digestive system may become more sensitive, and your nutrient needs shift. Sticking to outdated dietary routines, like large late-night meals or skipping hydration, can increase inflammation, reduce energy, and even contribute to cognitive fog. Movement habits also deserve a fresh look. Perhaps you've always preferred walking in the evening, but arthritis or vision changes make that less comfortable now. Adjusting your routine to include more daytime movement or even chair-based exercises can maintain strength and balance without straining the body. And on a deeper level, it's important to examine habits of thought. Are you still telling yourself, "I'm too old to learn something new," or "this is just the way I am"? These internal scripts are habits too, mental ruts that keep you from exploring fresh experiences, relationships, or skills that could bring you joy and fulfillment. Cognitive flexibility, the ability to adjust your thinking, is one of the greatest indicators of emotional well-being in seniors, and it begins with questioning the beliefs you've lived by without reassessment. Replacing old habits doesn't mean disrupting everything at once. It means identifying one small behavior that no longer feels aligned and swapping it for something intentional. If your evenings are filled with passive television, replace one show with an uplifting podcast or a phone call to a loved one. If your mornings begin with worry, start a gratitude journal to reframe your mindset. If you always read the news before breakfast and it leaves you anxious, try reading something light or inspiring instead. The goal isn't to overhaul your life overnight but to curate it more consciously. You have earned the right to live with purpose, not just repetition. Even habits related to social interaction can be outdated. Perhaps you're used to not reaching out to others, assuming they'll call you if they want to connect. But loneliness is an epidemic among seniors, and reaching out, even when it feels uncomfortable, can breathe life back into your social world. Making one new friend, joining one new group, or initiating one more phone call each week can shift your emotional landscape more than you realize. Habits around saying yes or no also evolve. Maybe you used to say yes out of obligation. Now, you can say no without guilt and yes only when it aligns with your peace, interests, or joy. In this season of life, awareness is your superpower. Every habit you keep should have a purpose, and every routine should feel like a reflection of your current needs, not an echo of a life you no longer live. The smallest habit changes can lead to profound improvements in how you feel, move, and think. By examining what you do without thinking, you gain the power to live with more thought. And when you release the behaviors that no longer serve you, you create space for energy, growth, and renewal to re-enter your days. Aging is not about holding on to what was, it's about stepping into what's still possible. And that journey begins one intentional habit at a time.